Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look back at one of my favourite games of all time. This is Half-Life 2. Now, back in 2004, I got absolutely hyped for Half-Life 2. From the very first time that I seen those E3 trailers, I watched them on loop, and I quickly came to the conclusion that my family PC, it was not going to be suitable for this behemoth of a game. And to this day, I still think back of when I was putting in that PC Gamer CD and watching the trailers again and again and again, pretending like I was playing it. It's such a happy time in my life. But there was some intrepidation about it. I mean, Half-Life 1 was a fantastic game. I played through it so much times. I played through it on PC, and I'd even played through it on PS2. And for this game to suggest that it could better that, there was warning signs. Like we hear in so much games nowadays, the sequels always promise to push the boundaries, to push the graphical prowess, to push the immersion factors, but they very rarely deliver it. But Half-Life 2 was different. It wasn't just a hope that it would better the original. Every gamer demanded that this game would better the original. And thankfully, Half-Life 2 was one of those games that would change the world forever. Its engine, the Source engine, it is still in use today in games like Titanfall 2, albeit a heavily modified one, and the Steam platform that launched Half-Life 2 to the masses, and it has become the biggest distribution service for games. Now, 2004 was going to be a hard year for Half-Life 2 to enter into. We'd already had games like Doom 3, Far Cry, and these games were fantastic in their own right, but when Half-Life 2 came out, there was no doubt that this game absolutely eclipsed every game that had come before them in the year. So in November 2004, I finally got my chance to play Half-Life 2, and I was absolutely blown away. It was better than I could have ever hoped for. From the introduction of City 17, to meeting Alex, to going on an adventure on an airboat, to investigating a dilapidated zombie-filled town, to driving on the highway, these things, there could be games in themselves, and indeed many games would come out with one of these sections as the premise for the whole game, but Half-Life 2, it injected so many different ideas, so many different moods and atmospheres into the same game. For about a week I was playing this game and I was never ever bored. Everything was fresh. Even at the end chapters, there was still fresh things happening. At times the game was action-packed, it was fast-flowing. At other times the mood calmed down and you were genuinely frightened at what could lurk around the next corner. All these things combined together to make Half-Life 2 not just a collection of different levels, but a world that you could get totally engrossed in. Early on in the game you're introduced to a new toy, the gravity gun, and this totally transformed the way you play the game. From up to that point it was just a standard first-person shooter with some nice physics effects, but when you actually can manipulate anything in the world and use it as a weapon, you can turn a radiator into a weapon, a pot of paint into a weapon. The world itself becomes your playground, and the real testament to this game is the fact that in every single computer I've built or bought since that day in 2004, I've had Half-Life 2 installed in it, I've played through it again, and even now in 2016 there is still so much enjoyment to be had out of the game. You can look back at it and you can see where so many of the ideas that we take for granted in games nowadays originated from, how storytelling has developed from something that you would read in a manual before you started playing the game to get a little bit of background is now fully integrated into the gaming experience. The story of Half-Life 2, boiling it down, is essentially just you travelling from a few places, meeting people and helping out along the way, but throughout the whole game it feels so much more than that. It feels like you're really making a difference to everything, you're really changing this world. And I don't really think that any game that has came out since has really managed to mix that feeling of grandeur when your actions are so minute. The way the game mixes a really nice visual presentation with probably one of the best musical scores in a game in my opinion, it manages to create something that is so special. Now, I do understand that I've not really gave you any spoilers for this game, and that's intentional. I just hope that by watching or listening to this video, you can understand that Half-Life 2 is a game that you need to experience at least once. It is a genre-defining game, and every single gamer, be it PC or even on the consoles, although some of those ports were ropey at best, that owe it to themselves to play through Half-Life 2 and just to see what the hype is about. But thank you folks for taking time to watch this video. It has been an absolute pleasure for me playing through this game again. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe and like button. If you disliked it, hit that dislike button, and I'd love to hear what you think of it. And I'll see you again next time.